Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Okay, let's get it started. So, yesterday we were discussing about the Java methods, and yes, we have seen some problems on top of primitive data types. Okay, if you want to use the return type as primitive data types, it is mandatory to use what? To use the return keyword. So, return keyword is mandatory when you are building a method by using any one of these data types as a primitive type. Return keyword is mandatory. Okay, return keyword is mandatory. If you are using void, then return keyword is an optional thing. Okay, so today we will start discussing about the static methods. Okay, a new topic which is called what? The static methods in Java. Static methods in Java, right? So there is a lot of difference between the normal methods and the static methods. So let me give you a small theory on top of the static methods in Java. Then we will discuss about some programming part. Okay. So a static method in Java is a method which is part of the class. I will tell you why it is called as a part of the class. It is a part of the class rather than the object of the class or instance of the class. Okay, what does it really mean is you can build a static method by using the following syntax. First, look at the syntax. You are very familiar with the method syntax. Method syntax says, so you need to specify an access modifier, which is an optional thing. Access modifier. This is an optional thing. Followed by what? The return type. Return type is a mandatory thing. Followed by method name, mandatory. Followed by the parameters. Optional. Parameters are optional. Followed by what? Let me. Yeah. Followed by exception. Throws exception. This is also an optional thing. Okay. And the method body. Okay. So this is the typical syntax of a normal method. Of a normal Java method. If you want to build a normal Java method, you can follow this syntax. It is very easy to remember. Okay, we have been discussing about this for the last two classes. Okay, so when I say a method is a static method, all you have to use is just place a static keyword before the return type. Then the method becomes static method. If there is no static keyword, it is a non-static method. Okay, so to transfer the control to the static method, we will be following a different approach. Okay, what is the approach that we were following to transfer the control to the normal method? So when I say normal method, it is always about what? Normal method is called as a non-static method. When you don't use static keyword, it is called as a non-static method or a normal method or concrete method. Remember this terminologies. Concrete, on. Okay, so this is the syntax for the concrete method or the normal method, the method that we have been discussing for the last 2 days. Normal method, okay, or the concrete method or the non-static method. But the moment when you use the static keyword, it becomes what? Static method. The difference is very what we call it as very simple, isn't it? When you use static keyword, it becomes static method. When you don't use static keyword, it is often called as a non-static method or a concrete method or a normal method. Making sense so far? We will discuss some problems on this. So let us build a non-static method. So let us build a static method. Okay, let me open my paintbrush. Okay, so now focus here. Okay, now look at this. The content that I have specified in the square brackets, they are always optional. That's why I have specified those in the square brackets. Okay, so let us work on the mandatory things. We will discuss about these optional things in the future classes. So since this is an optional, so we are not going to worry much about this. So I am removing this optional. Okay, so these are mandatory. Static keyword is a mandatory, and the return type is a mandatory to define a static method, right? So method name is also mandatory. So this is an optional thing. So I am removing this. Parameters is an optional thing. Okay. Throws exception. This is also an optional thing. So let me remove this. Okay. Since these are optional, we do not have to worry about this. Okay. So these are the mandatory things. Let us focus only on these mandatory things. Okay. So we need a static keyword to define a static method. We need a static keyword, and we are supposed to use a return type. Okay. Return type can be a void or any of the primitive data types. Okay, and we need to define our own method name, right? So static keyword won't change, so we need to substitute a return type. Okay, in place of return type I am substituting what? Let us use void. For the time being we will go with void. Okay, void. Okay, so let us take the method name as test. Method name should be a meaningful name. Okay, to understand this static method concept, we are going to keep the method name as test. Okay, we have successfully built our method. Okay, the name of the method is what? The name of the method is test, right? And return type is no return type, that's why void. Okay, and the keyword is static. Static void test. This is called as what? A typical static method in Java. This is the static method. Why static method? Because we are using a static keyword. If you don't use the static keyword, this becomes obviously a non-static method, a concrete method, an ordinary method. If you use static keyword, then it's a static method. Okay, but the control transfer, okay, the way you invoke or the way you access the static method is going to be a little different. That understanding is required. Okay, for a non-static method, for let us say that, let me remove this and keep it here. Now this becomes a non-static method. For a non-static method, object creation is mandatory. Yes or no? We need to create an object first. Object creation is mandatory to access non-static method. First thing. Okay, with the help of object reference variable, we access the method with the dot operator. We will use the method name. Okay, then we can access the method. But for a static method, okay, object creation is not mandatory. First part. Okay, let me write it here. So this is the syntax for the static method. First part, to access or to transfer the control or to invoke the static methods in Java, object creation is not mandatory. Object creation is not mandatory. We access static, or I can say that, let me refresh this. The static methods can be accessed by using the following syntax. The syntax is use the class name dot method. That's it. Use the class name dot the method name. Okay, the control will be transferred to that particular method, or that method will be invoked, or it is like or you are accessing that method. Okay, let us follow this rule and see if you are able to transfer the control to a static method or not. Okay, so let me take the syntax. This is my this is our common syntax, I mean common class A. So a main method is there. Okay, so I am creating a method like void test. Okay, So mandatory, what are the mandatory things to build a normal method? Return type, it should be, it can be any primitive type or a void type. In our case, I am taking it as a void type. Name of the method is test itself. You can give any name. Okay, for the time being, I am taking the name of the method as test. Okay, inside this method, okay, when this method is called, I want to print something in the console to ensure that, okay, this method is being called. Okay, so I am saying system dot out dot println test method invoke. Okay, now think about the rule. Okay, first you tell me what kind of method is this? Is this a static method or a normal method, or no, I mean, what can I say this? How this method can be defined? Answer me. What kind of method is this? Static method or non-static method? Non-static method. Good. Why non-static method? Because we are not using any static keyword. Okay, if you want to access a non-static method, object creation is mandatory, yes or no? So in this case, I need to do what? Test obj equal to new keyword followed by test constructor. Object creation is mandatory with this object reference obj dot test. Okay, the control will be transferred to the test method, and all the instructions inside this test method will get executed, yes or no? This is the way of calling a non-static method. But this is, if I want to, let me do this change. Okay, I'm just adding the static keyword. By just adding the static keyword, okay, now you have to define this method as a static method. This is no more a non-static method, this is a static method, right? But, and again, the rule for calling or invoking a static method is like, the syntax says use the class name dot method name. I need to substitute something in this syntax related to our classes and the methods. Okay, when I do this substitution, what will be the what will be the method code? Can anyone help me with this? You are getting my question? This is the syntax to call a static method. Okay, you need to replace the class name and you need to replace the method name with the respective method name. Okay, if I do that, how does it supposed to look? A dot test, yeah. A dot test, yes, correct. So capital A dot test, case sensitive. What is a class name? We have the class name A, right? So A dot, what is the method name? Test. Replace those values, the actual values, substitute the actual values on top of the syntax. So this is what it is, A dot test. Okay, if I run this, what would be the output now? Tell me. If I run this, what will be the output? Ava. No, I'm asking, if I run this, what will be the output? Why A will come? Test method invoke. Yes, test method invoke. Good. Test method invoke. Test method, this will be, because the control will be transferred to the test method and all the instructions in this test method will get executed. So when I say static method, there is no need of creating an object. Directly use the class name, directly use the method name, class name dot method name. Okay, you get the, it is like you are transferring the control to the method. The output will be executed. Okay, let me run this. Java C space test dot, sorry, Java C space A dot Java. Java C space A dot Java, compilation. Now execution, Java space test method invoked. Okay, for a non-static method, you need to create an object. Since it is a static method, object creation is not mandatory. When I say not mandatory, it is like you can call this method by creating the object as well as by not creating the object. Okay, let us do the other way. Now you focus here. What I can do like this also. A obj equal to new A. Okay, this part is talking about what? Object creation. Okay, Sir, you have said that you can ask me, you have just mentioned that object creation is meant for calling the non-static method. Yes, it is meant for calling the non-static method, but you can also do the same thing with the static also. For a static method, you can call this method by creating an object, by not creating an object. In two ways you can call. Okay, so let me run this. You'll get obj dot object is created for a static method again. Okay, is it possible or not possible? Let us check. Okay, so we are able to do. So the conclusion is, okay, to access or transfer, you can do this, or you can also create an object. Class name obj equal to new class name. To access a static method, you can use this syntax, or you can also use this syntax. But to access a non-static method, strictly you have to go with this syntax. Object creation is mandatory for a non-static method. You cannot call a non-static method with this syntax. Making sense? Static methods have such privileges. Okay, it has such privileges that you can either create an object to do a method call, or you can directly use the class name and the method name to do the call. Making sense? Two ways you can do. But for a non-static method, object creation is mandatory. Are we good so far, everyone? Yes, no? Samikta, Jyoti, yes. Tejas, Jyoti and Sweta, Chaitanya, Krishna Prasad. Okay, then let us see. Let us do some more problems on this. Okay, now you tell me. So far we are working only with one class, right? So let me add another class here, class B. Okay, now you focus here. Inside the class B, I am going to take a non-static method. Okay, when I say non-static method, there should not be any static keyword. So this is a typical non-static method. Okay, so let us take this as what? Test1. Test1 method invoked, and this is, let us keep this as test itself. Okay, so now you tell me. Okay, if I have to call, if I want to call this, if I want to invoke this method, invoke the test1 method. Okay, how can I proceed? Can you help me with that? If I run the code, I need to get the output in the console as test1 method invoked. What are the steps to call this method? Okay, you need to do a small observation here. First, you need to find where this method is placed, in which class this method is placed. First observation is should be there. Okay, in which class this method is placed, and you need to do the second observation, which is what? Whether it is a static method or non-static method. Okay, if it is a non-static method, the third observation is what? We need to do the object creation. How the object can be created, how this method can be invoked. Okay, help me with this. I need to add two lines here. What are those two lines here? So that this, I will get this as an output. Okay, create object for class B. Good, good. Object creation, object creation. Okay, object creation for which class? Class B. Specific answer. Chaitanya, good. Chaita also good. Yeah, obj. So after creating object for, why we are creating object for class B? Okay, because test1 is placed inside the class B. It is encapsulated inside the class B. So object creation is required for the class B. If I do the object creation for class A, I can access only the methods that is placed inside the class A. Right? So I need to create an object for the class B. So B obj equal to new B. Okay, object is created. Why we need to create an object? Because we are going to access a non-static method. That's why object creation is required. Okay, by this variable, if I call that method name, test1 is the method name. Okay, don't you think I will get this as an output? Right? Test1 method invoked. Okay, if I want to If I want to execute this, now my requirement is I want to display this in the console. I want to invoke this test method, not test one, test method. Okay. What are the ways to do that? Can I have your answers? Okay, you can do, you can see, yes, good Chaitanya, good Chaitanya. Yeah, good Chaitanya. I'm waiting for others answer. I hope my question is making sense. Okay, I want to call this. Okay, first you need to do three observations where this method is placed. It is placed in the class A. Okay, second observation, it is a static method or a non-static method. It is a static method. For the static method, I can invoke this in two ways. First way, I can create object, or else I can directly use the class name, right? Class name dot method name. So this method can be invoked. Yes or no, everyone? Do you agree with my answer? A dot test, yeah. A dot test. Yes, correct. Two ways we have. We have two ways. You can either do this, or else you can also do the object creation. There will be, I mean, you will not face any issues. Both ways you can do, but this is highly recommended. Without creating an object, you can do this. Okay, let's run this and see the output. Test one method invoke, test method invoke. Making sense? Okay, so now the difference is very clear. Okay, what is the difference between a static method and the non-static method? If you come across this question, the answer can be, you can draft the answer like this. Difference between the static method or non-static method or concreate method, or you can also call this as instance method. Okay, first we will list out the points of static method. Okay, so let us list out few points on top of static method. The first point is it does not require object creation. I think this line is getting justified now. Does not require what? Object creation. Okay, and the second thing is it can also say that the method can be accessed by using the name of the class where the method is placed. Right. Third point is syntax. Syntax talks about what? Syntax says use the class name dot method name. That's it. Okay, so now the non-static method. Okay, I can also keep a note here. Note, please be informed that you can also invoke the static method by creating an object. Okay, now non-static method. First point, so it does not require an object creation. Okay, same point I can use, but I can change it. It does require an object creation, or it requires this. It requires object creation. Okay, second point. The method can be accessed by the using only by the class name, but here I can make a change. The method can be accessed by using the object reference of a class. Object reference of the class where the method is placed. The third is talking about syntax. Okay, syntax says object creation So I can say that after creating object reference is mandatory followed by the name. So note, opposite. You can't invoke. Invoke means call. Invoke a non-static method by using the class name. Making sense, everyone? These are the tiny difference. Okay, so let me show you. So this is the developers. This is the developers view. Okay, on compilation, compiler will do a lot of changes, right? So let us see what are the changes that the compiler is going to do on top of this class. A compiler will not have any issues with our in this program, but it is going to do some additions. Okay, it will add few more classes here, few more content here. Okay, let's see what are the things that is going to be added by the compiler. Okay, so this is the developer's view. This is how you see the program, isn't it? This is how the program is developed by the developer. Okay, on compilation, okay, compiler will make a lot of changes here. Okay, so when you give this to the compiler is going to do what it is going to do, is going to add few things. Okay, first thing it is going to add is before the class. Okay, it is going to consider this as a default class, right? Yes or no? It is going to consider this as what? A default class, because no access modifier is specified, so the class will be treated as default, right? Second thing, okay, class B, it is going to add what? Extends object. Why extends object? We will discuss that in the future topics. Object is a class, it will extend. And now if you look at the method, okay, method, we did not specify any access modifiers even for the methods, right? So this method will also be treated as a default method. By pronunciation it is default, so there is no such keyword can be used for methods. By pronunciation, this method is a default method. Okay, again here, a class A extends object, okay, and no access modifier, so it will be treated as a default class by pronunciation. Okay, right? And again we have static and there is no access modifier, so this is also called as a default method. Okay, so these are the these are the things that will be added by the compiler. This is how the compiler will proceed with the compilation after adding all these things, which is what this is how the class will be converted by the compiler. Making sense? Why extends object? These things we will discuss in the future class. Okay, so by this I can conclude that we have completed static methods in Java, right? So now let us discuss about the types of method, how the methods in Java can be, okay, in how many ways the methods in Java can be built in Java, in how many ways the methods in Java can be built. Okay. So this is very important, focus here. So there are 4 ways. There are 4 following ways to build a Java method. First way, no return type and no arguments. Second way, return type and arguments. Third, return type with no arguments. Fourth, no return type with arguments. Okay, after completing all these 4 concepts, the concept of methods will be completed, and after this we have to discuss about accessor method, and the mutuator method. So that we will complete after completing access modifiers. Okay, let us discuss this one by one. First thing, no return type and no arguments. What does it really mean? Okay, so when I take a method, for example, void test, okay, if you take this method, okay, the return type is void. It means no return type. Since the return type is void, it means the method can be defined as a no return type method, and we are not passing any arguments. Right, inside this there are no arguments is passed, or no arguments is being passed. That's why this method is called as a no return type and the no argument method. Okay, so this is an example, no return type and no argument method. Okay, let us discuss about the other example so that this concept will be clear. Second topic, no return type and arguments method. Okay, so let me take the same method, void test. Instead of test, let me take it as addition, a meaningful name. Okay, I am passing two arguments here, integer x and integer y. Two arguments I am passing. I can also say that two values I am going to pass. Values are in the form of integer data type. This is the first value followed by a second value, which is also this value is also a kind of integer data type. Okay, after passing these two values, having said this, okay, I am collecting these two values inside system dot out dot println. So I'm going to collect these two values to perform an addition operation, right? X plus y, right? For example, okay, let me go here. Let me remove all this. So I have a class A. Okay. This method can be called as a method of no return type, but we are passing some arguments in this simple brackets. Some arguments are passed. The arguments are, you can call these arguments as a data, whatever it is, but this arguments is of what type? Primitive data types. I have specified a comma here, which means two values can be passed here. This method is going to accept two arguments of integer type, right? So what I am doing is, this method is going to do what? It will collect two values in these parameters. It can be any number. It can be 100, 100, 200, 200. It's up to you. From the main method, the values that you are going to pass will be collected here, and these two values will get evaluated, and the output will be displayed in the console. Okay, for example, first you help me with the object creation of this method. First of all, how do I create object for this method? For this class, I want to invoke this method. I want to transfer the control to this method. This is a non-static method, so object creation is mandatory. So what is the step for the object creation? What is the syntax for the object creation? Or you can give me directly what is the how the object can be created. A obj equal to A. Good, right? First observation is, first you find whether the method is a static or non-static. Okay, we have found that it is a non-static method, right? So object creation is mandatory. A obj equal to new A. Okay, but in it here you need to be very careful to call this method. If I want to call this method, I need to use what object reference. Object reference is obj dot, what is a method name? Addition method. Copy this and paste it here, addition method. But this method is accepting two arguments of which type? Integer type. Yes or no? Right? So I need to pass two integers. You can pass any integer. Okay, if I am passing 100, 100, this 100, the first 100 will be collected by this x variable, and the second 100 will be collected by this y variable. Okay, after the collection, what happens? The control will be transferred here. Okay, here it is going to perform the addition because we have used the addition operator. So x plus y is going to be what? 100 plus 100. Yes or no? The output is going to be what? 200. Right? If I run this, we get 200. What is an advantage? For the first time, I can pass 100 and 100. I can pass a different combination of values. Yes or no? In the second case, I can pass 1000, 100. The third case, I can pass what? 1, 100. Don't you think that we are achieving the reusability by just passing the values, passing different combination of values? Previously, in our previous examples, we were able to pass only one combination. I mean, if the method is executed, if the value remains intact, it is not getting changed, right? Every time the same value. But this time, don't you think that we are able to pass a different sets of values? Yes or no? Are you able to understand this, everyone? ಅದು obj.addition, obj.addition comma values. Yes, non-static Sveta. Are you able to get this? Okay, if I run this, okay, just tell me the output for this. We are, just remember one thing, we are calling this method for 3 times. It means I need to get, this method will be invoked for 3 times. So 3 times system.out.println will get executed, right? So I will be getting 3 values in the console. So what are those values? Can you help me with that? Two hundred, 102, 101. Good, good, good. Good. Right? So this is the typical example of what method? A method, I can say that this is a no return type. So don't think that, sir, you're using a return type as void. So when you use void, it is obviously it means that it is a no return type. Okay, and arguments method, which means the return type should be void and you are passing some arguments. Okay, so I can do a lot of manipulations here. Okay, if I do this, see the flexibility for us. Okay, I can write a logic in such a way that I can pass 2 values, but with those 2 values I can able to get the addition of those 2 values, subtraction of difference of these 2 values, multiplication of these 2 values. In one method I am capable to write all the logics, right? And again I can invoke the same method over and over again with different combination of values. Yes or no? Divided by 10. Okay, if I do this 100 by 100 comma, let us take 10. Okay, what is output now? Answer me. Answer me. You should be very fast. You should keep pen and paper next to you. Okay. We are passing 100 comma 10. 100 comma 10 is passed. Good. 110, 90, 1000 and 10. Good that you are answering. Good. So let me run this. 110, 90, 1000, 10. Good. Okay, so now we will do some kind of we will play with this method. Okay, instead of if I use a static keyword, will I get any error here? Okay, so this is going to become a static method, right? Yes or no? Do I get any error here if I do this? Do we get any error? Yes, no? Yes. Jyoti says yes. Why? No, we don't get any error because I have already mentioned, Jyoti, if you remember. Jyoti, yes, I have already mentioned that for a static method, you can also invoke those static method by creating an object. Okay, there will not be any issues. Okay, for static method, object creation is also accepted, but it is not recommended. Why it is not recommended, that we will see in the future class, but this is accepted, right? Okay, so if you want the proof, let me run this. No compilation error, so we get the same answer. Making sense now? Who has said? Jyotian, got it? Okay. Now next question. So this is making some sense now. Let me copy this example and place it here. So I can say that when you define a Java method which has void as a return type and accepting some arguments. Okay. Now the third method is what? Return type and no arguments. When I say that if you want to build a method with a return type and no arguments, how this can be built? Okay, let us see this. Okay, so return type. Okay, and let me remove this. Let me clear this. Okay. Return type means you have to use any of the data types apart from void. When you say a method as a return type, it means you have to use any of the data types apart from void. It means I need to remove this void. Okay, I have removed this void. I have used integer here. Void is removed and I am using integer here. Okay, let me remove all this. Okay. When I use integer, when I use any of the primitive data types, or when I use any data type apart from void, return keyword is mandatory. Okay, so we are building what method? Return type with no arguments. So let me remove these arguments also. Return keyword is mandatory and it should return something which is of the same data type, integer type. Okay, let us, for the timing, let us say that 1000. Right now you can define this method as a method with return type and no arguments. It's a method of return type with no arguments. Okay, so to build a meaningful method, on top of this I can say integer a equal to 100, integer b equal to 100. So we are losing some flexibility here. So in our previous example we add much flexibility and reusability, but here we are using some flexibility here, but it is okay. This is also a good method. So we are going to use all the future method is going to be a return type method. Okay, so I say integer a equal to 100, integer b equal to 200. Instead of returning a random value, I can return the combination of these two values, right? I can perform any kind of mathematical operation by considering these two values. I can say a plus b. Making sense, everyone? Okay, how to invoke this method? Now help me with this. Name of the class is a. I want to invoke this method. Okay, so for you the confusion has started. When I use the return keyword, for you the confusion has already started. Okay, object creation is mandatory firstly, right? Good. A obj equal to new a. Second thing is I need to do the method call. For the method call, since this is a non-static method, I can use the reference variable obj dot name of the method is addition itself. But this is a very special method, right? Name of the method is addition. If I do this call, what is happening internally? The control will be transferred here. Okay, it will check each and every line, and the control, this value will be returned to this control. A plus b is going to be what? 100 plus 200, 300. Okay, the control will carry this 300 along with it, and it will ensure that this value is being given to this method call. But we need to store this value. Unlike the previous method, the control was not carrying anything because it was a void method. It has no return type. This is a return type. Return means returning the value. 300 is being returned. Why 300 is being returned? Return keyword. It will not keep anything. The answer will be returned. So 300 is being returned. Okay. We need to store this value. Okay. For this, I need a variable. To store any value, I need a variable, right? Let us take the variable name as store itself. You can keep any name, but I'm taking store. Okay, what kind of variable is this? Integer, right? So you need to use the integer data type. Okay, now you tell me if I run this, what is the output now? If I run this, what is the output? You can tell me. Blank is the output. No, why errors, Sweta? Blank is the output. We don't get anything. I will explain this to you because Shweta did not attend yesterday's class. That's why she is confused. Okay, let me run this. Java C space a.java Java space. Output is going to be blank. Okay, why blank? I will tell you. But this is for Shweta. I hope everyone knows this. Okay, so main thread will get access to the main method. Okay, from here object creation is done with the object reference variable. The control will be transferred to the addition method, obj.addition. Okay, this control will look for the addition method. It has found the addition method. All the instructions inside this addition method will get executed, right? First instruction is integer equal to 100, value 100 will be assigned to the variable a, 200 will be assigned to the variable b. After this, a plus b 300. Okay, this 300 will be returned to this controller. Okay, so while getting back to the same place, it will carry this 300 along with it. Okay, we need to find a way to store this value 300. So in order to do that storage, I have created a variable called store variable, right? Inside the store variable, this value 300 will be stored in the memory. Okay, this value is getting stored in the store variable. Okay. Value is getting stored, but we did not use any println statement to display this stored value in the console. That's why. Okay, the thread, this main thread will move over the next line. Nothing is there to be executed. Then it will come out. Then it will exit the main method. So that's why output is blank. But to display something in the console, I need to access this store value, right? System.out.println. Okay, so I will be using what? The variable store itself. Okay. Do you think that now I will be getting the value 300 in the console? Yes or no, everyone? Right. So this is the already discussed example. Okay, same thing. Okay, if you use the static keyword, this is the stat. This becomes static method of what type? Of return type and no arguments type. You remove this non-static method of return type and argument. For the static method, object creation is optional. For the non-static method, object creation is mandatory. Okay, if I run this, let us see that if you are going to get the output as Java C space a.java 300 is the output in the console. Okay, this is an example. Okay, if you see we are running out of time, after 8 minutes you will be kicked out of the meeting. Please rejoin. Okay, don't consider that the classes are over. Please rejoin. Okay. So the definition can be, it's a very straightforward definition. When you define a method with return type and no arguments, then the method could be constructed as follows. Then you add to define it. Okay, making sense? Okay, the last type of the method is what? No return type with arguments. I think we have discussed this, no? Or return type with no arguments. Return type, did we discuss this? Return type with arguments. Okay, we did not discuss this. No return type and no arguments is discussed. Return type and no arguments is discussed. Now return type and no arguments is already discussed. Return type and no arguments. Return type and no arguments. This is no return type and no arguments because no return type. Okay. Third example is return type and no arguments. And the fourth example is return type and arguments. Okay, I am missing the sequence, nothing else. I have just missed the sequence. Okay. So last method, return type with arguments. Okay. Same method, return type. We have return type. Instead of no arguments, I am taking arguments. Okay. Let us take 3 arguments this time. Integer x, integer y, integer z. Let me remove this. Okay. Return x plus y plus z. Okay. Now you tell me how to invoke this method first of all. Object creation is already there. Okay. I want your help to give me the next 2 set of instructions apart from the object creation. Right. So let me give you some briefing about this. This method is accepting 3 values. You can pass all the 3 values should be of integer type. Okay, when you call this method, when you use the addition method name, okay, you need to pass 3 values of integer type. If you are passing any other type, then you will get the compilation error. This should 3 should be of integer type. You can pass any type, but what will be the method call and how can I display the output in the console? I want answers from you. OPG addition. This is a recent answer or what? No, you guys are wrong. Think and tell me. Samyukta, Krishna Prasad, Chaitanya. Wrong. Jyoti is wrong. Madhu, yes, is correct. Shant Madhu. So look at this, no? Addition, name of the method is addition, right? Okay. So I can say obj dot, the call should be for addition, okay? Since it is a method which is accepting arguments, right? A method that is accepting arguments. How many arguments it is accepting? 3 arguments. You need to pass 3 values. What values you need to pass? All the 3 values are of what type? Integer type, right? You can pass any values 10, 10, 10, but it should be of integer type. These 3 values will be stored in the respective variables sequentially, right? And this will be evaluated as per the operator that we have used here, okay? After the evaluation, what? 10 plus 10 plus 10 is going to be 30. Right? It is going to return 30. So since it is returning 30, returning 30, we need to save the store this 30 in a variable. I need to use what? Store. Of what type? Integer type. We are done with the storing. After storing, what I am supposed to do? System dot out dot println. Right? I need to access the store variable. Do you agree with me, everyone? Good, Jyotian. Everyone who said object dot addition, making sense? Okay. So let us see if this is. So let us conclude this by looking at the output. Okay. Cannot just conclude like that. Okay. Now you tell me. So here I am passing 3 values 10, 10, 10. Okay. By any chance, if I am passing a value that is not relevant to this data type, think and answer me. I am passing 10.00. Okay. 10.00 is not of integer type. Yes or no? Do you think it is an integer type? Right? So we get compilation error. Why we get compilation error? It is going to accept a value of integer type, but we are violating this rule. We are doing a violation. The rule is you can pass any 3 values of integer type. I did violate this rule. I am passing integer. Okay, it is okay. Second one is also int. It is okay. Third one is I am using a float value here. Okay. If I do this, compiler is going to give what? It's going to give us left and right. See, lossy conversion. Are you getting this? Look at the data type here. You are supposed to pass the values of same data type. Are we good? Yes, no? Everyone? Are you capable of answering the remaining questions? So please feel free to ask if you have any doubts. Good. Okay, so now, okay, so this is a, what kind of method is this? When I ask you what kind of method is this, your answer should be static or non-static. Okay, what kind of method is this? Static or non-static? Static or non-static? Non-static method, normal method or non-static method. Yeah, good. Non-static method, or we can also call it as what, concrete method, or we can also call this at what, instant. Don't get confusion. Okay, these methods has many names. Okay, instance method, non-static method, okay, and concrete method. And we have what, a normal method, an ordinary method, but don't use this. This is for our understanding also. Okay, don't use this in the future. Okay, so these are the good terminologies: instance method, or the non-static method, or the concrete method. Okay, by just adding the static keyword, okay, so you are going to remove all this, and it becomes what, static method. Yes, no? Okay, don't you think that we get the output even though by changing this method as a static method? Do we get any kind of error here? Do we get any kind of error here? So now method has been changed to static, from non-static to static. Do you think that we will get any error here, compilation error here? No, we don't get any compilation error, because object creation is accepted for the static method also. Okay, but it is not recommended. This is accepted. So, but we do get error because of this. Because of this we do get error, but not because of this. Okay, making sense? So we have completed almost all the combination of methods. Now we will look into few more problems before concluding today's classes. Let me take this example and add it. Okay. Tomorrow the class is going to be very interesting, and tomorrow classes are there, even though it is Sunday. We will take leave on any one of the weekdays. Okay, tomorrow please be available. Tomorrow is very important class, object creation class. Okay, we are going to discuss a lot about these particular things. Okay, particularly this line has a lot of explanation. We'll give you that. Return type and the definition can be when you add to construct a method that accepts arguments with the return type, it is called it would be filled as okay. My voice is audible, no? My screen is visible, right? Just a double check. Everyone, okay. Okay. Good. Okay, so let us focus. Okay, this is the explanation. This is the syntax. Okay, let us do some problem solvings on top of this method. Okay, I hope you will answer this. Let me see. Okay, so I am taking only one argument for the better understanding. So I am taking only one argument here. Okay, so I am returning what? I am returning x. Okay. Okay, now you think and answer me. Okay, so this is accepting, is going to accept the data type, integer data type, yes or no? Okay, integer data type it is going to accept, but if when I pass a character data type here, okay, my question is, do we get any error here? Okay, if you don't get any error here, why we don't get any error here? So that's my question. Right, think and answer me. Object creation is already done. Okay, so we are doing a method call. Okay, The method call is for which method? Addition method. Addition method is called, okay. But this addition method is going to accept a value of integer type. But I am using I am passing a character. If I pass this 100, I will not face any compilation error. We know that already. It's very straightforward. 100 is of integer type, no issues at all. But if I pass the character type, okay, do I get any compilation error or not? So that's my question. First answer me yes or no. Is it possible or not possible? It's my chat. Okay. It takes ASCII value of A. Okay, good. Possible. No error, it will be considered. Okay, good. I think you're getting this. Okay. Yeah. So this is the right answer. Okay, let us see. We don't get, okay, 65 will be stored here. Okay, let us see what output we are going to get. System dot out dot println. Okay, I need to display store in the console, right? Okay, Java C space A dot Java. No compilation error. 65 is getting displayed in the console. Okay, good, Jyotiyan. Everyone good? Jyotiyan was very specific about the answer. So 65. Okay, why? What happened? What is happening here? Again, you need to check the promotion chart. It says byte can be promoted to short. Short can be promoted to int can be promoted to long can be promoted to what? Float, right? Float can be promoted to double. Okay, and so I can place the character here. Okay, or else I can place the character over here. So character has no relationship between with byte and short. So directly the promotion character gets promoted to it. Okay, we are passing a character. It can be promoted to int. Okay, what is happening here internally? The value A, we are passing the value A. Okay, is of character type. What this integer will do? Integer will accept. Integer can store any value of integer type. Okay, this, but we are passing a character. What it will do? It will do the conversion. It will convert this character to a number. How that conversion will happen? With the ASCII values. The equivalent ASCII value for A is 65. 65 will be stored here. Okay, and it will be returned. Will be returned to the control. Okay, so it will come here. This will be stored in the store variable, and we are accessing the store. Okay, but now you tell me, instead of passing the character A, if I do pass a floating point value here, for example 10.00f. Okay, will this work? Got my question? So addition is a method that is going to accept the integer data type, but here I am passing a floating point data type. Okay, do we get a compilation error, or do we get an output? Yes, we get a compilation error. Why? Because float is already promoted. Okay, you cannot depromote. It's like a depromotion. You are passing a floating point value, but here it is accepting an integer value. This is a larger value. You cannot store a larger value to a smaller data type. Yes or no? It cannot be possible. But you can make this possible by doing the typecasting. Okay, I do not want to bring those typecasting topic here once again. You can make it possible, but by doing a typecasting, which will it will create some the values will be overflowed and there will be a data loss. That is possible. You need to do a typecasting. We will think about that later in the future topics. Okay. So I think we have done with these examples. Okay, let me take one more example. Okay, now you tell me integer A, comma integer B. Okay, now I am doing what? A plus B. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, so I am passing J plus A. Okay, now you answer me. I do not want the exact answer. You can answer me whether the output is going to be of integer type or the what character type. Very simple question, isn't it? or do we get any error? Yes, integer type. Good, good, good. Integer type. Yes, we are done with the examples now. Let me run this. Next, we will see about what? 139. Okay, actually, previously, you have used the plus operator. It should be comma. That's why we got error. So your answers are correct. No worries. Okay. Now we will discuss about. Okay, we are done with these things. Okay, we are done with all examples. I'm thinking which can I give. Okay, so we're good for the day. So that's all about the methods, Java methods. Okay, so we have to discuss about these mutator methods. That's an accessor methods. Okay. This topic will be completed after completing the access modifiers. Access modifiers in Java. Okay, before even closing this today's class, let me introduce one thing. Okay, so when I have a class A, just remember this. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about this. So this is my class A. Okay. So I was telling you compiler is going to do some add-ons, right? Okay. Compiler will also do some other thing that I'm going to introduce now. Okay. So this is our developer's code. Okay. So when you give this code to the compiler is going to add the default. I mean, this will be considered as a default class because no access modifiers are specified. Okay. Now you see one thing. Default, we know this already. This is not a repetition. Class A is going to extend object class. Okay, extends object. Okay, after this compiler is also going to add a constructor. Okay, what is a constructor? That we will discuss tomorrow in the object creation class. Compiler will also add a line like it will use the class name, opening and closing parenthesis. Okay, this is a constructor. This will also be added by the compiler. Why this will be added by the compiler, we will discuss in the tomorrow's class. This is what we call as a constructor. Okay, by default this will also be added by the compiler. It will be same as the class name. If you use the class name as a opening and closing parenthesis, opening block and the closing block, this is called as what? Constructor. We will discuss about this tomorrow in the object creation process. So that's all for the today's class. Tomorrow don't miss the class. Tomorrow is Sunday, don't miss the class. Very important class.